One of the things I'm proudest of in the state of Florida is here we have drawn a line in the sand, and we have said that the purpose of our school system is to educate kids, not to indoctrinate kids. We have done things like ban the use of critical race theory in our K through 12 schools. We're not going to teach kids to hate each other or to hate our country with your tax dollars. That is inappropriate. We also, though, recognize that CRT is seeping into the corporate sector, and so we passed a bill, it's being challenged in court, will eventually win, that says employees have a right to opt out of this type of discriminatory training if some big corporation is trying to impose that on you. You do not have to self-flagellate just to keep your job. They can't force you to affirm beliefs that you don't have, and so it's just a basic way to protect the workplace and to protect people's individual conscience. And yes, we're against CRT, we're against distorting American history, but what are we for? And in Florida, we've launched an initiative to get American civics back in our schools in a really major way. We need to be teaching kids what it means to be an American. We need to teach them about the founding principles of our country, why the Constitution is structured the way it is, why our Bill of Rights are like they are. We need to teach them that in the American system, our rights come from God, not from the government. We need to teach them how all of those philosophies and values have animated the key moments in American history, from the Civil War to World War II, the Civil Rights Movement to victory in the Cold War, because we have an obligation to produce people who are going to be able to discharge the duties of being an American citizen. And you don't do that by graduating people who are listless vessels. You got to give them a proper foundation so that they can make sense of the world around them. And part of what doing that means is, yes, we talk about American history, we talk about American civics, but we also compare that to other systems of government. And so I've signed legislation in Florida designating every November 7th to be a day where we remember as a state, but also teach kids in school about the victims of communist regimes. They need to know about the body count in the 20th century at the hands of Marxist-Leninist regimes. Over 100 million people perish as the result of communist dictatorships. And it's important because this philosophy is still there. It's still making waves, and these issues are perennial. So we're proud of doing that, and we're proud of really standing strong for that. And we also did, and you may have heard of this skirmish, had to get into it with not just the media, but also some big corporations, about the idea that in Florida, parents should be able to send their kid to elementary school without having woke gender ideology shoved down their throat. We need to teach them how to read and write and add and subtract. Focus on academics. Don't try to impose ideology on young and vulnerable kids. And most people think that that's common sense. Some people on the left didn't like it. Obviously, their megaphone in the media, corporate media didn't like it. And look, the left, they're smart about some of these things. They know if you run for election in Florida saying we need to teach first graders that even though they were born a boy, they may really be a girl, that is not going to go over very well with parents. And I can tell you, my parents are old enough, they don't even understand how that possibly could be a thing. And so it strikes a lot of people as very weird.